Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another segment of Soul Talk. So, my name is Emeka, the psychologist. So, today, the topic of our discussion is going to be love thy neighbor as thyself. So, it's from the Bible passage, it's from the Bible, love thy neighbor as thyself. So, I was thinking about this simple statement, love thy neighbor as thyself. And it's something that everybody's familiar with. Oh, you've heard it before in the church, your mom has told you, something that is everywhere in pop culture. But when you look at the world or when you look at Nigeria, you can see that it's easy for you to see that even this common saying that is in the Bible that people are familiar with is not being practiced. Everybody says love your neighbor as yourself, but do you really love your neighbor as yourself? I love myself, yes, you love yourself, but do you love your neighbor as yourself? Do you treat your neighbor the way you treat yourself? And when I'm talking about neighbor for me is more of a general term. Neighbor is not just someone that lives close to you. Neighbor is can be someone that lives around you. Neighbor can be somebody that is your friend. Neighbor can be even a total stranger is a neighbor. You're part of the human race, and even though he's a stranger, he's your neighbor in some way. Okay? So, but when you look at our society, you see that even this common statement is not being practiced. From politics to the church to personal relations with people to how country relate to one another, that love thy neighbor as thyself is not being practiced. So, and that's a very important issue. If you look at the world today, if you, let's talk about if let's focus on Nigeria. If you look at Nigeria today, you can pretty much see that most of us don't love ourselves like we love our neighbor. I believe I love myself, yes, but to love my neighbor is a whole different thing. I don't love my neighbor. Why should I love my neighbor as much as I love myself? He's a stranger. I have to look out for myself first. If I don't look out for myself, who will look after me? Who will look after my interest? And so, some of us, even in Nigeria, when we love our neighbor, it's contingent on some certain requirements for us. What I mean by that is, if I love my neighbor, it has to be because he goes to my church, okay? He's the same social class as I am. He's handsome like I am. We have to have similar things in common. He likes the kind of music I listen to. He likes the this thing. He drives the same kind of car I drive. He loves the same artist that I like. So we love our neighbor based on what we share in common. If we share a lot in common, then we may love, not even we actually love them as much as love ourselves, but we may at least strive because we see that they are similar to us, you know. And if you look at that kind of love, it's contingent on, you are, as long as you are good to me, or as long as you are good, I love you. But the day you start messing up, it's like, well, see ya, bye. So that's not the kind of love that we are talking about, you know. And even if you watch how people relate to their house helps, all these rich people and middle class, how they relate to their house helps, you can get to see, you know, me and the house help don't eat from the same pot. I cook my food first, or I eat my food first before the house help will eat. Or the house help will only wear the clothes that I'm tired of wearing. I don't buy the house help new clothes like I buy myself. Or the house help can, maybe I'll buy myself tissue and I don't buy tissue for the house help. That's his or her own business. He should take care of himself, that kind of thing. It's kind of a preferential love that we tend to give ourselves and we ignore other people, or people that our neighbors, we tend to ignore them because we see it as the way. And so my question is, why is this? Why would um, why would you, as a human being, treat another human being different just because maybe you don't have one quality? Let's say you graduated from Harvard or something, and the house help is an illiterate. Then, because of that, you treat them different like you treat yourself. You give yourself preferential treatment and treat them like shit, basically. So if you look at it, a good reason why this is so is because if you look at our society in Nigeria, in the world, our society is structured and maintained based on inequality. It's structured and maintained based on inequality and imbalances in power. That's how our society goes. Vices is what sustains our society today. Greed, corruption, and power imbalances, division, Those are things that support our culture, our society. For example, what I mean by the division I'm talking about is if you look at society, it's structured in a certain way, like there's the king, then there's the subjects. There's the president, then there is the common man. There is a men and there are women. There are adults, there are children. So there's always that dichotomy, those two categories of division, or even three. So and with those divisions, there are imbalance of power. The way the king is treated is not the way an average person is treated. He's the king. They give him special treatment. The way we treat the president of Nigeria is not the way we treat the citizens of Nigeria. He's different. The way men are treated is not the way women are treated. And in these divisions, you can get to see that some people are in power and some people are not in power. A man in our society, like in Nigeria, he has more power than a woman. Basically, he has better opportunities, compared to a woman. The president can say he wants to go to Morocco today and take off, or the president can make unnecessary demands and the country or whoever or the people that are being ruled don't have any choice but to accept it. But this common man cannot do that. He has rules and regulations that chain him down, so he can't do that. So with all these divisions and all these vices in place, it makes it difficult for people to love themselves to treat themselves the way they treat their neighbor. It makes it very difficult because if I studied in Harvard and my house help did not go to school, then I feel, why should I treat them like me? He didn't go to school, he's just an illiterate. Why should I treat him like the way I treat myself? And you get to see that we as a people, especially in Nigeria and even in the world, we tend to attach ourselves to these things that we give ourselves, these titles we give ourselves. I'm a man, so every woman is beneath me. I walk on air, and if a woman talks to me, I smack her and stuff like that because I'm in power. And so the just like that, the employer and the employee, the employer feels, oh, I'm God over this employee. Anything I do, he must say. Anything I say, he must do. And because of that, I cannot treat him the same way I treat myself. These divisions, we all buy into these divisions, and because we buy into it, it makes it difficult to treat your neighbor the way you treat yourself. You know, and so, but what we fail to understand is all these titles, they're just social constructs. They're meaningless. And what I mean by meaningless is when you die, you don't get to worry about, oh, whether I had a PhD in my life. You don't get to worry about, oh, what of that mansion I had in Lekki? Oh, man, that one, what about that fountain I parked in my driveway? Those shit don't come to your mind because it's not important. But when you have all these worldly possessions in this country, then you feel that, oh, I should be given special treatment. I'm a millionaire, so I should get special treatment from people. People should not just treat me like the average guy. When they see me, they should bow their head. When they see me, they should raise up hand and say, it's Wale, my man, or something like that. We feel we're entitled to things, and that makes it difficult for us to relate with our neighbor. And this is a real problem in Nigerian culture because if you look around, like I was watching a video yesterday, it was about this woman that she poured like hot water on or hot oil on her house help that is like 10 years old, like it peeled her face, their head, her face, and there's so much incidents of people killing their house help or men brutalizing their wives, and or even look at this the fear of Muslims. Oh, they are Muslim, me, I'm a Christian. Oh, they are the enemy, so I must kill her. They are terrorists and all that stuff. All these things, it makes it difficult to love your neighbor because we attach ourselves to what I said, the titles. Oh, I'm a Christian, she's a Muslim. Oh, this one is that one is that. So it makes it difficult to love your neighbor. I remember one time when I was in the car. So, like that time I used to watch a lot of TV. So I saw this lady, and this Muslim lady, my first thought is that, oh, she's a terrorist or something. It's just like an automatic thought. Then I was kind of worried about that. Like, why would I see a Muslim lady and just assume she's a terrorist? That kind of bullshit, right? So then one day I was just driving by. I was just driving by in a car. Then there was a lady, and that lady pulled up beside me. She was a Muslim woman. And I just looked at her, I'm like, oh, she's a Muslim woman. And my automatic thought again is, oh, terrorist, terrorist. Then, as I was watching the lady, right, then I saw she had like three children in the car. She was driving like a Sienna, right? So she had like three children in the car. So those three children she had in the car, they were like asking her for something. So she had to, like, since they were in a traffic light, so she had to like get out some food and was feeding the two children and then giving her food to the third one. So she was sharing food for them. And as I watched that, as I watched, there's nothing exceptional about a woman feeding her child, right? There's nothing so special about that. But as I watched her, for once in my life, I was looking at a Muslim woman that was acting like a human being. And what I mean by that is, I was seeing them for a human being, not just, oh, she's a terrorist, but I was seeing a woman feeding her children. And this thing let me realize that, man, this person is just like you. This woman is another human being like you. Doesn't matter whether she's a Muslim or Scientologist or whatever, you people are still human beings. You want the same basic things she wants. You want a better life for your children, you want a better life for you, just like she wants for her own children. But because of the propaganda you see in the media, they give you a one-sided show of Muslim people. Oh, they are going to go and bomb. Oh, they are doing this one. Oh, they are killing somebody. But you forget, and when you get caught up with all this negative portrayal, you forget that these same people, these Muslim women or this Muslim man, is the same thing as you, in the sense that he wants the same thing you want in life. We want food, we want security, we want shelter. Everybody wants that. Nobody's culture is against shelter or against food or something like that. You understand? But it's easy for us to get caught up in the bullshit that is being preached in the media and is preached all around us. That, oh, these people are the bad people. Oh, they want to kill all Muslims. They want to kill all Christians. They want to take over the world and all that stuff. So we forget that, and we fight unnecessary battles with one another. Oh, I can't forgive this person. This person did this to that person, and because of that, we fight stupid wars. And look at the amount of lives that are being wasted in the wars we are fighting. You know, you have to understand that this our world. A lot of people make money. A lot of people make money based on our misunderstanding with the other people. When we don't treat people the way we want to be treated, other people can use that avenue to exploit us. For example, like I said about the Muslim woman, if I'm a devout Christian like Catholics, which I know happens a lot, like Catholics, some of them are developing this ideology that Muslims are the bad people. So if I have hate in my heart towards Muslims, and then I see a Muslim person just going on their own, someone can tell me that, oh, this lady is going to go and kill somebody, you have to kill her. Just misinform you, and before you know it, you kill the lady. And before you realize, it's like, oh, what have I done? A good example about this, it happened in America when that guy went to some young white guy went to the church. Some white guy went to the church and he murdered the black congregation members out of hate. He said that, oh, he doesn't like them, so he killed them. The same thing happened when some boy went to a Jewish synagogue and he shot all the Jewish people. And they asked him why. He said he felt Donald Trump was not hard enough on the Jews. And then when the news now came out, even Donald Trump was asking for the boy to be punished to the full extent of the law. You know, that is very important. If you are not careful, this your hatred or this your division this your favorable treatment towards yourself and against others, it can be used against you too, and they manipulate you, and you make a horrible mistake like the boy made, and then you pay for it with your life.